Hello everybody, this is Alex from Hardcore Guides, bringing you my guide for Transformers Devastation on Prime difficulty. Today we're doing Chapter 6, which is called Ferrotaxis. And we're going to be doing Optimus Prime's campaign. Of course, we have this mission and Mission 7 to do, or Chapter 7 I should say. Missions are what you do inside the chapters, Alex. Duh. So anyway, I did switch up my two weapons like I say I always do, and apparently I have a thing for Kyro weapons, it seems like, because 3 of my weapons are basically ice for this chapter. So I'm thinking about maybe next chapter I'll just use some fire weapons. Even if I already had used those weapons before, I'll just use them again. So anyway, the beginning of this chapter starts off not really rough, but things just pretty much exploding and stuff like that. It's not really a big deal. Even though Optimus Prime is technically the slowest. Why is she... No, I think Grimlock is technically the slowest. Well, I mean, out of the main Autobots, not the Dinobots, I believe that Optimus Prime is technically the slowest in transformed mode, so even though he is the slowest in that certain respect, he can still get across that bridge just like anybody else can. He's not any slower than anybody else on that certain section. That section is just pretty much automatic. But you can actually fall off, and if you don't, if you let go of holding up, you'll pretty much get pushed back and fall off the cliff, which is not good. So today I was on Twitter and I was looking at one of the guys I follow. And he was talking about, Nier Automata, which, about that game, I'd never heard about that game until Platinum started making, their own version of it. And the thing is, after I heard about it, a few months later I went to GameStop and I saw that Nier was there and like, Nier? Wait a minute. Wasn't this a game that Platinum was making, that, from that Square Enix game that, I actually did some research on it, I'm like, oh, it was a Square Enix hack and slash game, like JRPG. I don't think it was JRPG. I think it was just this RPG hack and slash game, and I was looking at it, looking at it and stuff, trying to figure out what pretty much was going on, and maybe it might be worth checking out or whatever. Which I really probably should, because I hate being that kind of douchebag who's like, oh, I'll just play the sequels instead of the original because who cares. I want to play it because it's Platinum, and of course they make anything look good. I mean, obviously I'm not a Transformers kind of person, as you guys can tell, but I bought this game, just fine. But at least, I respect the original, what do they call it? The original, damn it. The original work, I guess you could say. I do respect the original work. I don't really care for the Michael Bay movies that much, except for like the first two, like I've always been saying. Those were the only two I really technically actually seen, but I guess I'm willing to go see the other two and see if I actually will care or not. It's just one of those things, I don't know. But what I really want to see this year, I want to go see Star Wars Episode 7. Oh my god, it looks so fucking good. I'm sorry, but I'm just one of those kinds of people that really thinks it looks pretty cool. The one game I always wanted to play in the Star Wars deal was The Force Unleashed, which I got to play the demo of, but never got a chance to actually play the actual game. And I know somebody who owns the game, and I can just go play it that way, but they have it for the Wii. So I don't know if it's any worse, or maybe it's any better, I don't know. I don't know why you want to play on the Wii, though. I mean, if it's any worse, I have no idea. Oh no, oh good lord. I think this is Mission 3 for Chapter 6. Well anyway, this is one of the worst missions in this entire game. It's another one of those stupid Protect Wheeljack missions. Oh, it's Mission 2, never mind. Well, it's one of those stupid Protect Wheeljack missions. As you can see, my ultimate gauge, I think it did go up. I should have been paying attention to that, but the reason why it's been going up, or it's almost, close to being done if it wasn't before, is because I have failed on this mission, I think, a total of twice before I got this good clip. So my only advice is obviously go for the big ground soldiers first, because they're going to start charging towards Wheeljack. And if you got overdrive ready, just go ahead and break those shield guys, because those shield guys are going to become a pain in the butt. As you can see, I'm not using my ultimate attack because I'm trying to save it up right now. The focus time is definitely nice because it gives you that chance to, well, get the time to go ahead and beat these guys down as quick as possible. And there's some Seekers in the background that will be shooting at Wheeljack if they see him, so just try to make sure that you get them killed too. And luckily for me, I have this Gatling missile gun. These Seekers right here, they're easy enough to kill. It took me it took 6 shots to kill them. But it was, one shot that I had to shoot. I shot 6 missiles at him to kill him. So always pay attention to the Seekers though on the side, because they will keep spawning and they're going to be a pain in the butt. Especially when they start shooting at you. That's when stuff hurts. If you're having a problem with breaking shield enemy stuff, or not their stuff, their shields, just to go up to them, you know, avoid their attack, go into focus time, hold down triangle or square or triangle or whatever, you know, button you're pressing, and just go from there. You should be able to break a shield pretty easily that way. They are annoying. I hate shield enemies too, but they're definitely easy to take out. Ugh, the insectoids. This is the worst part of the entire section. Like, literally, this is the worst part, because they start sending up bombshells that explode. And of course, not only does that deal with that, you know, these guys have to deal with Seekers too. It's obviously going to be a pain in the butt. But, you know, if you keep dying, just keep restarting, just keep saving up your ultimate gauge, it'll keep building up, and then, you know, if you ever feel like you need to use your ultimate gauge, use it. There are certain aspects to where I say just save it up, like on the first, you know, section, not first section, but the, you know, first part of this mission, the, you know, the ground soldiers and whatever before you fight the insectoids. I feel like it's no use there because, well, let's be honest, they're pretty easy to take out because they're already, you know, one of them's gonna focus on Wheeljack anyway, or they're gonna focus on your buddies. So that's another good thing too. At least you have your buddies with you. That's so nice. But man, the insectoids just piss me off this game. You know, I thought I hate the Seekers more, but man, no, I think I'm starting to hate the insectoids more. But if you want well, not Seekers, but if you want insectoids to stop spawning, all you have to do is whenever this grapple, you know, this claw arm thing starts coming down and tries to open up these, I don't know what they're called, but I always used to play Bionicles and stuff, so I want to keep calling it, you know, that bionic goo stuff that they have in that series of stuff. You know, but I know it's not. But I don't know what these cylinder things, even though they're totally not cylinders, you know, hey. But, you know. Yeah, I kind of panicked here for a second. I'm like, there's a bombshell coming, I'm gonna blow them up. I think I actually took out the cyborg arm too with it, which is nice. It's kind of weird because I should have taken out the Seeker, you know, with that kind of range, but who knows. But again, like I said, Seekers, if nobody is close to Wheeljack, just go straight for Seekers, because, or if you feel like, you know, Wheeljack can be fine by himself, go for the Seekers first, because they're going to become a pain in the butt, because they can shoot at range, and, you know, they're just really, really annoying. This part's nice, too, because Optimus is like, you know, I'm going to go take out the claws, you guys go protect Wheeljack and what have you. Also, if you play as Wheeljack in this section, it's Bumblebee you have to protect. Same thing with, the first section. So just bear that in mind if you guys were ever wondering that yourselves. So I guess after you defeat those two claws, that's when the 100% starts to show up. So if you don't want to take out that last kickback, just go ahead and turn on the let's go ahead and press this button right here, and then you should be able to make your way across. It's so weird because like the other Autobots come with you, but they're not actually on this transport with you at the time. I don't know, this game has a weird way of, you know, getting them all grouped up together again. So of course, again, we have to fight more insectoids and of course a couple kickbacks, which I'm starting to think that kickbacks are probably worse than ground soldiers themselves. Just due to the fact that, you know, they will transform, which I don't think the ground soldiers actually ever really do transform. Well, sometimes they appear transformed, and then that's it. They don't, you know, they never transform back into their actual transformations or anything like that, which is so weird. Oh man, but like I was saying earlier about the, back to the Nier topic at hand, I'm willing enough to go check out what the first one's like, maybe even play it. I think there's only two of them. Well, there's the first one, of course, and then there's the new one that's coming out, so I just want to kind of get my, well, I don't know if I don't know, I might just watch a Let's Play of it if you guys are fine with that, but if you guys would much rather me play it instead, then I might just go ahead and allocate that before I play this, you know, this sequel. Or knowing me, I'll probably end up getting Automata anyway, and then just doing my research about, you know, what the first one was like and stuff like that, which is what I wish people would have done for Bioshock Infinite, damn it. Oh, okay, we're not going to get back into that. I'm so sorry, that's just one of those things where it's frustrating. I do that with every game, like, you know, if there's a game that I, you know, it's got a sequel to it or whatever, you know, it's clearly a sequel to something, I will look up the first game before I start playing the second one just to see if it, you know, would preach my interest for it, and if it's something I should really get into. But you know, to be honest, some games you don't really even need to go back and play the prequels. Sometimes you can jump right into the sequel and you'd be fine. Which, to be honest, let's seriously be honest here. You know, sometimes that'll happen, and sometimes you know a friend or two might not have the original game, so they might have a sequel, and you play it that way. But anyway, we have to fight out this stupid cyber claw thing again, and of course, it will actually damage the cargo lift if given enough time. Good thing to do is focus time, which I'm clearly not doing, but I'm doing plenty enough damage to it to where it won't actually damage the cargo lift. If it damages the cargo, if it takes damage off the cargo lift, then it'll hurt you too, so you just kind of want to hit it as fast as you possibly can. Which overdrive's pretty good, you know, like I said, get a lot of focus off of it. That way you have more time to hit it. And, you know, go for those pretty easy vehicle attacks. The swords in this game, the single swords are pretty cool. I like them a lot more than I like the double swords. I don't like using dual wield swords. That's just me though. But yeah. Oh man. I was gonna say something to myself like, yeah, you played Metal Gear Rising, but you didn't like play the old ones, did you? Well, I watched a whole entire Let's Play of the first one on, you know, SGB. That was entertaining. I would love to play that game though too. It looks really fun. I have played a little bit of the second one, and I played a little bit of the fourth one. I never got a chance to play the third one, but Metal Gear Rising is technically, to me, it's, you know, a spin-off. So maybe Nier Automata might be its own little different thing instead of being a sequel. I don't know. But I totally looked at the trailer, and I totally saw Platinum. Well, I already knew it was being made by Platinum. I went to their website, and I saw what games they were making, and I checked it out. At first, somebody said they were making a third-person shooter game. I'm like, another one? Sweet. I would totally play that. But then, you know, that didn't turn out to be true. I think what they meant by third person was probably something like Star Fox. Which, let's be fairly honest, I have no interest in getting Star Fox though. Even though it's like, well, you're a Platinum fan now, so you have to. Well, no, I don't have to because I don't really like Star Fox anyway. I played the 64 one, thought it was okay. Played that one like when I was like in 3rd grade. So how else am I supposed to know? I never got to play the, that was at a friend's house, by the way. I never really got to play the original SNES one. But, you know, maybe I always could, but I just don't like on-rail stuff. But that's just my kind of deal. Even though Zero does look pretty cool, I just have no interest in it, or anything like that. And also, I actually forgot to correct this a while back. I said this on my first impressions video, my friend kind of got a little upset. I said that the only Platinum games I actually got to play were Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising, this, and Vanquish. He's like, well, what about, you know, like Okami? I'm like, well, that's Clover Studios. He's like, well, that's still Platinum. And I'm like, okay, fine, I've played Okami, Jesus Christ. No, he was doing it jokingly, of course, I know. But I just wanted to mention that I do have Okami as well, even though that is a Clover Studios game. And I have played Beautiful Joe with my friend. He has the second one. I think it's the second one. Which is a fantastic fun. It's a fun ass game, though, just to be honest. But man, just Platinum's on a roll. Like seriously, gosh. So many freaking games can, like, this game came out. They got Star Fox Zero coming out. They got Nier coming out. Now, am I gonna play Legend of Korra? Probably not. You know, I have no idea. You know what's weird? Like, I'm so laid back in this video right now. I don't know what's going on. Like, I got my hand on my cheek right here, just laying back, just enjoying my video, because there's really nothing to talk about besides what we already talked about before. Because, you know, we had that super hard section, and, you know, you just deal with the Seekers mostly, and you stay next to Wheeljack if you can. You know, always try to pop some shots off on the Seekers. It's pretty easy stuff. You guys should already know how to combat. My bad. You should already know how to combat these guys. You know, the Sentry Bot's never that hard too. The cool thing about the Sentry Bot fight in this, one, you don't have to chase it down. The other thing is, you can stun it, which is so nice, by the way. You can't use, I don't think you can use a loudspeaker on it, but you can stun it. It's kind of, if you do enough damage to it, eventually just stun. You go for the kill, and it's pretty easy. But if this wide open section right here does not tell you who we're going to be fighting in a second, I will let you know. It's going to be Soundwave. Even though I do like Soundwave in this game, I think he's a really cool boss. This fight in particular is so annoying because he's got his cassettes that he likes to play with. And it's really irritating. I think when you kill the first 2 cassettes, I think this is the... Well, this is the fight where he will summon more. But I remember back in the original fight, he didn't actually summon his other cassettes, which I don't know why he didn't. I don't know how many cassettes he had. I think he has like 4 or 6. You know, he's usually got always like 2 out at the same time. I think there's Rumble, Ravage. Frick, I don't even remember. Frickin' Rumble is the one that really pisses me off. I think this one right here is Rumble, the one that killed me. I believe it's Rumble. I think the dog is Ravage. I am not sure on that. I think it has a Rhino too, but that's for the toy line. I don't think you actually use it. You see how like I just easily just busted a cabin on guy's ass? Like that cassette didn't have a chance to come out. He just got wrecked. Wrecked. That's what I meant to say. Totally. I really meant to say wrecked. I didn't mean to say raped. I'm sorry. It's just a thing that, you know, me and my friend are used to say. Just jokes. Anyway, when these polygon-looking cylinder things come up, you actually can evade and not take damage off them too. So if you have the ability to not take damage when you evade, or you get that last second to retain damage, well, you can easily not take. Yeah, see right there, I got hit, but I didn't take any damage though either. My best tip about Soundwave is just dash charge into him as much as you can. Because really, he's easy up close. He just likes to keep his distance away from you. That's the problem. And, you know, he's got his stupid little cassettes that like to, you know, throw out as many stupid crap as they want to. I think in this particular fight, I guess he only has 4 he summons. Because he's only got Rumble out right now. Which, to be honest, the cassettes, they do look pretty cool. I do think they look pretty cool, though. I think I died one more time, or maybe... No, I got health right there. Yeah, you want to kill the cassettes as fast as you can. Go for them first. Even though I clearly was not doing that, I recommend that you go for them first. That way it saves you the trouble of having to deal with them in the first place. If you can, get some loudspeaker shots on him, which I know he's really hard to do that too, but you can still do it. If you need to, you can always evade and then hold down L1 and then shoot him that way. You know, it might save you the trouble, it might save you the chance of getting hit though too. He is the last boss of this chapter, but don't worry. I think, I don't think we have to ever fight him again though. I don't believe so. I think we, no, I don't know. I'll have to go back and, well, I'm gonna go do that later today. I'm gonna record chapter 7 later today and get that done with. So, that's the end of that business. And since I beat it, I got this really cool looking hammer, which I go to the menu to look for it, and I couldn't even find the frickin' thing. So, you know, I was sitting there looking through the menus, thinking like, maybe I have to go back and buy it in the store. I went back to look, it wasn't even there, so there's really no point in looking for it. But it really looked like a cool hammer, so if I can find it, I'll use that next. But if not, I'll use some fire stuff. So anyway, folks, without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time, Chapter 7. So take care, everybody.